Welcome back to another video. 24 hours has elapsed since my fiasco. If you saw my video yesterday, I got stumped. But did you really think I got stumped? Come on. You. All right. How about one more?
We got on this ship anyhow. Yo. Surrounded. Keep firing.
Well, I can tell y'all one of the greatest movies of my generation that I can sit and watch anytime that I find it on TV is Spaceballs. If you don't have that kind of sense of humor and that movie's not for you, then I apologize. But it is a very funny movie, and I can sit there and just watch clips of that all day. One of the great comedians of at least my lifetime, John Candy, was in it before he passed away, and it was a good character for him. So anyway, to get back to our serious stuff here. So today's Sunday, and I've been spending half my day scratching my head. It's funny to make fun of now since I got it solved. I know a lot of y'all are not going to sit here through this whole video, but of course I'm not going to give you the answers to the test beginning. I did learn a lot, and I've always said, if anybody has ever watched my channel, I've always said that you are always learning in this industry. I don't care if it's RF, I don't care if it's crypto, I don't care if it's both of them combined, passive income. The game changes, and I tell everybody, you're always learning. Nobody knows everything. Since I got involved really in ADSB almost a year ago with D-Fly, I have been pushing, I did the test with the black SDRs, and I did the test with the green SDRs, and I have been pushing these, and I did purchase one of these, and on 99% of my installs, or actually before this tower install yesterday, 99% of my installs, well, before the tower, 100% of the installs, they both had identical results. There was no difference. The messages were the same. The aircraft was the same. And because of the price difference, and this one has recently gone up, so it's making me look like a fool right now. But previous to this, the price was $30-something. But even at this price, this one right here will work $49.90 American dollars, and free shipping from Amazon if you're a Prime member comes in 2 days, where this one is $40, $39.99, plus you can't remember if I pay tax also, but by the time I did shipping, it takes longer to arrive. But they both worked. I always thought there was something on the inside until today. I thought they were the same on the inside, I meant, until today. And we're going to get into that for a minute. So for those who didn't see part one and don't want to have to go back and watch it, because we all got short attention spans, a buddy of mine, I had to work out a very special deal with him. I'm not going to go into details with that, but he had some tower work going on yesterday. He has a 400-foot tower down here in South Louisiana. He was taking an antenna off, and he had more stuff going on than that. But the feed line was going to stay there. So he had nobody leasing or anything like that needed anything put up at that level. So I lucked out for right now. Now, if somebody wants to come lease that 400-foot space, I'm in trouble. But we'll cross that bridge when it comes. So right now, he said, hey, if I can use the feed line that's on there and we don't have to change that out, which of course I'm not spending that kind of money. That would be crazy. But I could put the 1090 antenna up at 400 feet. And I knew this was thicker, a lot thicker. I think it was 1.5 or 1.25 feed line, hard line, if y'all are familiar with that. So we're not talking about the little LMR 400, that's the size of a quarter. We're talking about feed line that's this thick. When I ran it through a loss calculator, I'm probably getting, for those who didn't listen to my last video and only wanted to comment or send me messages that I didn't take in the loss factor for 400 feet, again, I'm going to say this again, slower. I ran it in a loss calculator. 400 feet at 1.5 or whatever it was, I had less loss than I did where the antenna was before that, which was about 100 feet of LMR 400. Because that's just by the time you ran it inside and where it was located at that time, it was 100 foot almost of LMR 400. That's what was available at that time when I had it installed. I was getting 100 something planes with that. And yesterday, I was so excited. I couldn't wait to get on there, figure out how many planes I was going to catch. And this is what I got. 84 at 255. No matter how much I changed, I thought maybe I had too much noise, different things like that. No matter what I did, that's my results for. So he happened to be going to the tower today again to finish up some stuff on the ground level. Yesterday the tower climbers were there. Today he was on the ground level. And he said, if you want to come in here and work on it, I don't care. I'll be here all day. So after my daughter's softball earlier, I came in and I started finagling with it. And I was quite surprised with what I found out. So on the initial setup, this is the Pro Stick Plus, whatever you want to call it, Flight Aware, that is supposed to have a filter in it and has an RF amp in it. This is what was in that setup there. When I happened to set it up the first time, this is the one that I used when I did back and forth, and I'll end up leaving this one. It wasn't that it performed any better or worse than the green one. They were identical, like I've always been saying on every video since last year. When I took the noise readings, I mentioned this yesterday, the noise floor was crazy. And with the negative number, the lower the number is, the stronger that signal is. And the noise floor was crazy. And so in other words, this was picking up a lot more noise, which I had this problem on a repeater and radio system in that area on my own work tower. And I had to add more filtration to it, more separation. I don't want to get into the whole details of all that, but more than you would normally have to put on a radio system. So I figured that that's what's going on, even though 1090 is not used by a lot of things. So my first thing I did before I did anything else is I put one of these on there. What I come to find out was they're not the same. However, you would think it'd be simple and say, this one's better, that one's better. And of course, nothing in my life with my luck is simple. What I found out is, before we go too deep into the weeds and I start losing some of y'all, to sum it up, this one has a much better filter in it. However, this one has a much better amplifier in it. As like I said, nothing can be simple. This one had like a -9 to -11 noise level, which is crazy. But the signal was a little better. This one had a -20 noise level. But this one was still kind of picking up more flights. However, this one was picking up better ground flights and flights further away. It was just the weirdest combination that no matter how much I changed it, and look, I sat here and I changed gain, and people tell me I ran too much gain. And I'm gonna tell you, on every single one of my setups, I don't run a -10, which is basically the max gain, on any device unless it happens to have a black SDR. Black SDR, you have to run -10 and you still get horrible results. But with this one or the blue one, I'm running most of them the 48.0. Some got a 44.5. They might need a 49.6, but either way, I sat here and sat here and sat there all day running these numbers. And I said, wait a minute. During my testing on initial DFly stuff, and I was doing videos and testing stuff out, the little bit of money I was getting from people buying my link stuff, I was buying different things to try out. I bought one of these. It's a SAW filter. Probably ain't the greatest thing in the world. Reviews are, some people say it's the greatest thing in the world. Some people said it ain't worth the metal that it's used to make. So I said, let me add this and see what the results were. And the results were, it made a drastic improvement on this. Drastic improvement. You saw when you run the strong messages stuff, script, you saw a gigantic difference. I say gigantic because it made enough that it made a difference in the readings. When I used that same soft filter, so let me compare, go back and forth. Like I said, I've been at this for hours. I'm exhausted. The soft filter made zero difference. Zero difference at all. Same amount of flights, which tells me the filtration in this one is good enough that it doesn't need any added. This one severely needs it. Now, what I will say this before anybody goes and rushes off and buys this thing. I am using another one of these somewhere else. If you're just doing a basic setup at your house that it's 10 feet off the ground, you don't need this. You don't. Because this is doing good enough as it is, and this is doing good enough as it is. All right? So don't go rush off and start buying these soft filters and the old man that was on helium telling everybody to buy these goofy things and stuff like that. You don't need that for this project if you have a normal setup that doesn't have a lot of noise. If you're using one of these and you're getting noise readings in the -10s and -12s, you are going to need one. There's a guy on Facebook that says how he had to put one, and I believe him. I don't, but again, people want to start arguing with me about which one of these is better. Yeah, this is $50 shipped to you in 2 days. This one's $40 plus $20 shipping, which is $60. Then you got to add another $15 to that. It's not worth it. Unless you're trying to get this crazy ideal setup. If you're putting something 400 feet on the tower with cellular stuff on it and these other things on it, and you're going to use this, you're going to need this. And that's what it. But I will say, however, going through with all that, I don't think I gained but 10 or 12 planes. My messages didn't go up at all. So that wasn't it at all. So what was it? It was the LMR 400 that went from the wall, which is where the ground station is, the lightning protection. That's where every coax coming down the tower ends at. And then it's LMR 400 to each repeater or whatever he has in there that he's hosting for people. There was a piece of LMR 400 because I wanted to put this nicely on the shelf somewhere, which is on the other side of the shack. And it was only 25 feet long. I used 25 feet long LMR 400 in several setups. Setups getting 150, 175 planes on it. The loss, as you can see on here, the loss is not that bad. However, when I removed that piece of LMR 400, and then it doesn't look great, keep your comments to yourself, but as part of the test, you're just trying different things. I then took the green SDR, I think it was the green SDR first, and lo and behold, this is what I get. By removing that one piece of coax, I am 400 feet going up with one coax, then going into a lightning arrestor that then is a 25 foot piece of LMR 400. Just by removing that, I gained 100 plus planes. This right now, I'm making this as 5:20 at night on a Sunday. I'm getting almost 200 airplanes. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight because I cannot wait to see what I'm gonna get tomorrow, prime time, with all these flights in the air. But right now, I'm hitting, over 200 and probably right about 250 miles away. But I sat here and I tested, I took one thing off, then I put just the blue SDR on, and the results got worse. When I put that blue SDR back on there, that noise floor was even worse because you're getting less loss. You do lose some noise floor. It was worse. So I go back and I add this. And then on that blue SDR with this, I easily start hitting 200 plus planes. I'm hitting over 1,000 messages easy. So then, just for giggles, I go and put this back. And I'm telling you, I tried this, I tried all kinds of different gains and everything like that. At the end of the day, here's the result. And you'll see the result. But I sat here and fought with this and fought with this and fought with this over and over. And it goes to show you that just because in some testing this was better than this, or these two things were equal, and this thing was at that time I purchased it a waste of money, you never know. Different setups. I've always said that in RF, and I deal with that all the time when I do all these microwave shots and stuff like that around where I work at. You know, I got 400, 500 cameras with microwave shots, and I have some that should work like this, and they don't work that way. Some that should not work at all, but I say, let's try it, and it works. RF is different everywhere, and this is part of this is because of noise floor. Nothing to do with it. People talking about my antenna and all this stuff like that. You know, at some point, it's a curvature of the earth thing. You know, I'd like to purchase a 12 dBi antenna one day just to do a side-by-side comparison, but I did one install already with a 12 dBi, and it didn't get nowhere close to results the 5.5 did. And it's as simple as that. You know, I'm watching the screen, and you know, you're hitting 200 aircraft again, and I'm gonna tell you, the gain I'm still playing with, because it's weird, because as your gain goes down, sure, your noise goes down, but then you start losing the aircraft a little bit. But sometimes the messages went up, but your aircraft went down. One thing also that I noticed that I wasn't too fond of was, you know, right now I am getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 aircraft on the ground, and of all my setups I have ever did, I have setups on the North Shore of Lake Pontchartrain. I have setups in Slidell, Bay St. Louis. I have them in New Orleans. I have one that is literally right here at a friend's house, because there's this other airport right here. I have never, and you know, I have mine that's down here, further down. Never gotten aircraft on the ground. And I know Wingbits is really high on Wingbits on planes on the ground. And one thing when I was playing with Gain that I found out, look, you got a plane right here taking off. Look at that. Plane taking off, and you can sit here and watch it, and you know, you're watching the altitude go up, watching the speed go up, and that's cool. But as you played with it, though, at one time I was getting like 12 or 15 planes over 250 miles. And sometimes you started losing those playing with the gain, and you played with this as you played, and the messages went up and down. And I don't even know what I settled on with this. I think I settled on either 44 or 48 or something like that. I ran to -10 just to see what happened if you max it out, and my results got way poor, and noise went up and everything else. So this goes to show you that, you know, when you start doing some of these weird exotic setups, it could be completely wrong. I'm glad I got it kind of figured out. I am very eager to find out what happens tomorrow when I have a lot of these planes in the air. I mean, I'm at 204 right now. So it's crazy. And I want to see. So you can see right here, right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7-ish that are outside of the 250-mile limit. I have one that's hitting 279 right now. Over Florida, 279 miles, man. You know, but again, this took having to use this filter with this one. And if you think I'm putting that on both of these, on every install, it's not, because I'm still confident that for 99% of my installs, this is the better one. And in fact, you know, the fact that this one, the noise level was higher, you know, level, whatever, when you want to consider SNR, signal noise ratio, I'm on a normal everyday install, I'm even more now confident suggesting this one. If you bought this one, there's nothing wrong with it. Don't return it. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. For 99% of the installs, both of these are going to be your best. Better than any of these other ones. Again, this one right here is supposed to have a filter, and they're showing you filtering that one. I'm seeing more and more people start buying these. I don't know why. If they're suggesting putting a filter on this thing that already has a filter on it, supposedly, I don't understand that at all. You know, I've seen some people buy this thing, and it has an 8 GB card with it with some software on it or something like that. I don't know what that's about, but I'm not comfortable with this. Have I tested one? No, I haven't. But if on that other one page, if they already suggesting putting a filter on it, I'd pass. But that's me. So in closing, 205. I will have to say that, you know, when you want to compare it to my two better performing right now with less flights in the air, it's a Sunday. My two better performing, probably my two best reporting were both show, you know, 134, 143. And that this one's still getting 270 more than what my best performing one is. I'm very eager to see what this does tomorrow. And we'll see. It was something I've always wanted to do. When he called me and said, hey, you mentioned something a while back about putting an antenna up, I have an open thing, I jumped at it. I'm like, what deal you want to make out? Let me know. And I jumped at it. Will it cost me in the end? I don't know. Only Wingbits can decide that future. But it's been a long weekend, and I'm ready to get back home and put this behind me for now. And tomorrow I'll share some results when all these flights in the air. So thank you all for watching, for those who stayed this long, and have a good weekend.